One of these photos was taken with the brand new Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, and the other on my $5,000 professional camera. If you think you can tell the difference, leave a comment down below. But first, let's see what this S24 is capable of. Now, most smartphones perform pretty well in, good lighting like this, but seem to struggle when you shoot in lower light scenarios. So stay tuned because we're also going to test out how good the S24 is in lower light. Look up shot of the CN Tower. Switch it to the telephoto. Now this phone boasts some pretty amazing photography features and AI capabilities that I think will get us one step closer to closing the gap between phones and cameras, at least for quality. We're actually getting some nice bokeh, nice background blur here. So the S24 Ultra has 4 different rear cameras. First, we have the 1X camera, which is a 200 megapixel 24mm f1.7 equivalent. We also have the wide angle with 12 megapixels, a 3X telephoto with 10 megapixels, and lastly the 5X with a 50 megapixel sensor. We do have the sky that's going to be blown out, and so if we want to expose for the sky, then we're going to have to lower our exposure compensation. If we expose to the bike, then we blow out the sky. So we are shooting in RAW. Hopefully we're going to retain all that information. And the same thing with the A7 IV. Okay, we're shooting with the S24 Ultra. We have it set in Pro mode. That way we can adjust our shutter speed and our ISO and our white balance, but also so we can shoot in RAW. And then we're shooting with the A7 IV so we can compare the photos. There we go. I'm gonna go over here. If we stand like kind of on the road, we can get a shot. Fire truck, CN Tower in the background, Union Station. We're gonna shoot it with the wide angle here. Okay, so one of the really cool things about the S24 is that it has like super AI zoom. So as soon as you go past like 10x, you can't do it when you're shooting in RAW, but if you switch back to JPEG, you can zoom all the way into like 100x, and then it kind of uses AI to, I guess, enhance the photo and like make the resolution look better because you're actually like digitally zooming in as opposed to like switching out lenses. So we have the CN Tower here, and I'm gonna see how close we can get with the 100x zoom. This is just 10x. Okay, so we can't really test out the 100x because this is like 13x already. If we just keep going, we just get like, this is 100x. We get window. Okay, we're gonna take a portrait shot of Taha here with the S24. Now, the nice thing about a professional camera is you can swap out lenses, and different lenses have different apertures. So if I wanted to shoot a nice portrait, I can use an aperture of f1.4 and get some natural, like really nice looking bokeh or background blur behind our subject. With smartphones, usually there's like a portrait mode and it uses like AI to kind of cut out your subject and like add blur. And sometimes it doesn't do the best. Sometimes it doesn't do like a perfect cutout of your subject. So I'm gonna try portrait mode with the S24, but I also wanna try getting some natural bokeh, maybe by using the telephoto lens and getting some of that compression with the longer focal length. So we'll try both. Let's go into, we have portrait mode here.
So the Samsung actually did a really good job in portrait mode. You can see it cut out our subject perfectly in both of these photos with no issue, and it even got the stray hairs in this photo.
I'll also take the same shot with my A7 IV. We'll get a shot like this.
Now in the shot where I didn't use portrait mode, we didn't get as much natural bokeh or bokeh as I wanted. So the S24 actually has a background blur feature built into the gallery app, which lets you add bokeh to any portrait, even if not shot on the S24, which is super cool and a great feature to have.
Okay, so we're gonna try getting a lookup shot here. We're gonna use a super wide angle camera on the S24, which is, I believe it's like a 13 or 14 millimeter equivalent. I can't get that wide on the Sony, but we'll try getting a shot anyway.
Now, one thing I realized when shooting is that you can only shoot in 200 megapixels when in the regular photo mode. If you're shooting in pro mode where you can shoot in RAW, you're maxed out at 50 megapixels depending on which camera you're using. Also, my apologies, I thought the screen recording was going the entire time and realized after that I forgot to screen record for the second half of this video.
Batteries here.
When it came to shooting at night in low light, this is where most mobile phones tend to fall apart. But the S24 actually has a night mode built in, which essentially slows down your shutter and might actually enhance your image while also applying noise reduction, but I don't know that part for sure. And essentially by slowing down your shutter speed, it allows for more light and leads to less noise because your ISO is much lower now. And the night mode actually works really well on the S24. You can see just how much less noise this shot has compared to this one. I'd highly recommend if you're shooting at night or in lower light situations with the S24, definitely use night mode.
Okay, I'm gonna purposely, because I want to test out one of the AI features, which is like generative fill. So I'm gonna purposely like kind of mess up the horizon, like this, and then I'll show you that AI feature later on. Okay, check this out. So we got Taha's bag in the photo, but if we go here, click the edit button, click right here, and basically we can draw around his bag, and we have generative fill built right into the phone. So it does a perfect selection of his bag, sculpting a new scenery. There we go. Got a little bit of a shadow in there, view original. The cool thing is we can just go back, do it again, generate. Who needs Photoshop? Who needs Photoshop?
The S24 also uses generative fill when rotating a photo. So generally, if you rotate a photo, you'll find it crops in at the same time. But we took a nice wide shot here, and I want to keep it as wide as I took it. Using generative fill, we can level out our horizon and it'll automatically generate the corners of our photo so we still have our nice wide shot.
Okay, so that's a full day shooting with the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Overall, it performed really, really well, especially when we're shooting in day with nice lighting. When it came to low light shooting right now, you can kind of tell that it is noisy, a little bit grainy, and we do lose a lot of detail. But that's mostly because these smartphones have a very small sensor. Like the smartphone sensor in this camera is 44 times smaller than the sensor in this camera. So, you know, larger sensor, you're gonna get more dynamic range, you're gonna get better low light performance. So that's why this is gonna perform way better than a smartphone any day when it comes to low light. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied, and it's definitely a great phone for regular everyday photography. If you guys wanna see more videos on the S24, or you guys wanna see some of the AI features, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.